Everybody, it's Sharmel. Welcome back to my channel. As you guys can see, I have the butterfly robe on, so that means that we're going to be playing in some makeup today. So today's video is going to be a chit chat, get ready with me. And before we get into this, if you're not subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on your bell notification so that you will be updated every time I upload. So per usual, all the makeup, everything that I use on my face will be listed down below. So yeah, I already did my eyebrows, and yeah, so let's get started. So today I'm going to be decided to discuss some hot topics that have been like all over the social media world, and I'm going to be talking about Chris Brown and the comments that he made on one of his songs on his new album. So if you aren't aware, Chris Brown recently dropped a new album. I wouldn't classify myself as a Chris Brown fan. Growing up, like when he first came out in high school, I really liked Chris Brown, but just over the years as I've grown up, and his Chris Brown the person and what's been in the media over the last 10 years, you know, we kind of naturally parted ways. Do I listen to some of his popular music here and there? I do, but he's definitely not one of those artists where I feel like I need to go listen to his songs, or like I'm anxiously always waiting for him to drop new music. So with that being said, I did attempt to listen to his new album, but y'all, it was like 30 songs on that album. So I did listen to a few, but I didn't get through the whole album. But yeah, on one of the songs, he made a comment about wanting to F black itches with the nice hair. And so that lyric in the song has kind of set social media ablaze. Me personally, I will say that I wasn't personally offended by the comment, and this is in no way, shape, or form am I excusing Chris Brown's comment, because we're gonna get into all of that. But I personally wasn't offended because I don't know, when it comes to certain people, you kind of know who they are. What's that saying? Like, when people show you who they are, believe them. Chris Brown's image over the last 10 years has been extremely problematic. So him making a problematic comment doesn't surprise me. Therefore, I'm not offended by it, because I would expect something like that from him. And again, in no way, shape, or form am I excusing it, but my feelings aren't hurt about the comment. And secondly, based on Chris Brown's dating experience, or not his dating experience, but his the women that he's dated, it kind of falls in line with the comment that he made. If you make a comment or you say something and you receive backlash about it, most people wouldn't say anything, or they would apologize. Even if you don't mean it, you would, you know, try to rectify the situation. But in Chris Brown's case, which even made the issue bigger, is that he then went on IG and he was responding to people who were talking about it, basically further insulting black women, and there was just zero accountability. The thing about this whole situation that really annoyed me, it's not even necessarily Chris Brown's lyrics in the song. It's been more so like the general public and his fans trying to excuse his comment or try to twist what he said, or kind of saying like that's not what he meant by it. And if you black, and if you grew up in the black community and you grew up with black culture, nice is a synonym for good, and good hair in reference to black people, or black women specifically, has always alluded to a certain type of hair texture. It has always been referred to, or it's always been referenced to, the looser, softer, 3 type of hair texture. And I'm just baffled at people being like, I'm just baffled by, yeah, people being willfully ignorant and obtuse and saying like that's not what he meant. And if he said nice hair, anyone who's offended, they probably don't have nice hair, or it says more about how you think about your hair. And it's like, no, Chris Brown said what he said. And we know he didn't. And then it's like, if you look at the lyrics, he said with the nice hair, not with nice hair. Because with nice hair, okay, that can be kind of more broad, but the nice hair, you know what kind of hair he's referencing. And again, based on the type of women he's dated, like, it all lines up. So I'm more annoyed at people just kind of trying to minimize what he meant. And I would respect people more if you're a fan of Chris Brown and you want to continue to support him after he's made those comments, like, you have free will to do that, but don't play on everybody's intelligence. I'll respect you more if you just like, you know what, he said it. It is a shady comment. It is an anti-black comment, but I don't really care, and I just want to support Chris Brown. I'll respect you more because you acknowledge what he said was wrong, but you're choosing to do what you want to do. That's fair. I may not agree with it, but it's fair. But I'm more annoyed by people just trying to act like that's not what he meant. And like I said, the whole conversation has just kind of snowballed into more topics and different, like, it's kind of all over the place. So, you know, like I said, in the black community, nice, good hair has always been like associated with the looser 3B, not 3B, or 3 type hair. It's also always been kind of associated with light skin. And you know, a lot of people are calling Chris Brown out as being a colorist because that's what it kind of trickles down to. Like, you don't have to blatantly say I don't like dark skinned women. Or so yeah, whenever someone mentions nice hair, they're rarely, and I'm speaking from a historical, overall, general idea. Whenever someone mentions nice hair, it's rare that they're talking about the kinkier, nappy. Like, you never hear people refer to nappy hair as good hair. Nappy has always been like the opposite of good. And still, it plays into the colorism or the colorist angle, because it's like nappy hair, and I'm not using nappy as a good, like, it's sad that I can't even say nappy without saying that I don't mean nappy in a bad way, because nappy has always been referred to as the bad type of hair. But I'm saying nappy. I don't mean it derogatory. I'm just saying nappy because we know when you say nappy hair what kind of hair you're referring to. But I say that because nappy hair has always been associated with darker skin. And I will say with like the natural hair community that's kind of taken place over the last 10 years or so, it has kind of helped us redefine how we look and think about beauty standards, or what we consider the beauty standard, which, you know, it, like I said, it has kind of helped change the narrative when it refers to like good and bad hair. But at the same time, we're still not all the way there yet. Like, there's still a lot of undoing and a lot of unlearning and a lot of teaching that has to take place, because we're not there. And you can tell we're not there because even within the beauty community, not the beauty community, the natural hair community, you know, everybody was raving and encouraging women to go natural and all this other stuff. And it was supposed to be more, you know, everybody was encouraging everybody to embrace their natural hair. But even then, within the natural community, you've seen the rise of like texturism, which really wasn't new within the community though, you kind of seen women with looser texture hair kind of hijack the movement, I guess you can say, because even though everyone's natural, a certain type of hair type is still placed upon a pedestal. So regardless about how what you may feel is considered good or bad hair, I don't prescribe to the good hair, bad hair theory on, you know, based on texture, but overall it's still a thing. And then Chris Brown, after that, again, like, this is how you know he meant what he said, because he was going in on people in the comments, specifying black women and calling them more derogatory terms. His comments was something about like he'll buy y'all some lace fronts or something. Everybody making a comment like he'll buy some lace fronts from y'all for y'all ate up edges. Like, he just constantly feeded into like the good hair, bad hair thing. Then he posted another video telling women to like send him a video of yourself without like any hair or makeup. Like, I don't know exactly what he said. I watched it, but I can't really remember. But basically, send him a picture of you in your natural form or something, basically, so he can probably rate you. And like, it's just a mess. Outside of the good hair, bad hair, light skin, dark skin conversation, because those are not new conversations. They have been going around for years. They'll probably continue to go around for years. The other conversation that's kind of come from his comments is about preference and whether or not we can have preference, or we can't tell people like what kind of preference they can and can't have. And this is another conversation that has been around for a long time and that continues to go in circles. So let me say, preferences, everyone is allowed to have a preference. All of us do have preferences for the most part, whether we speak on it or not. Like, there's nothing inherently wrong with a preference. There's just things in life that you like, and there's things in life that you don't like. But what makes it problematic is if you have to go out of your way to insult what you don't like in order to uplift and talk about what you do like, that's when it's problematic, and it's no longer a preference. It's a lot of stuff in this world that I don't like, whether it be the type of men I like, whether it be the type of hairstyles I like, whether it be the type of food I like. But if I don't like it, I don't need to address it because I don't like it. But it's interesting that people will go in and just be absolutely disrespectful to people who they don't consider their preference, or people who they aren't attracted to. And then when they get called out on it, they'll try to say, well, it's a preference, I'm allowed to have a preference, yada yada yada. Hey, I hate when people do this. Like, we'll be talking about, you know, it'll be a conversation about one thing, and then somebody will insert their unnecessary opinion about it. So Lil Duval posted something about like, what's the difference between women stating that they don't like short men, or women are allowed to have preferences, but when men speak on their preferences, it's problematic. And my issue is, and what a lot of people don't want to acknowledge, is that their preferences may be rooted in racism, bigotry, and anti-blackness. Like, that's what it boils down to. And they, instead of acknowledging that, they deflect. So it's like, oh, women are allowed to do this, or everyone else is allowed to have a preference. Why isn't it okay when I say, you know, why isn't it okay for me to like light-skinned women, or why isn't it okay for me to like women with a certain type of hair texture? It's my preference. And that's not to say though that you're racist per se, but how long have black people been in America? Like, literally our entire existence in this country, we have been taught that white is better, that light is better. I feel like when you have this conversation, a lot of people like to take opportunities like this and kind of shit on light-skinned people, light-skinned black people, and kind of make them feel bad for being light-skinned, or make them feel like they're less black because they're light-skinned. And in no way, shape, or form is that true. At the end of the day, if you have two black identifying parents, then you yourself are black regardless of your features, regardless of your hair type, regardless of the color of your skin, your complexion, whether you're light, dark. If you have two black identifying parents, then you are black. So, you know, light-skinned people can't help that they light-skinned, so I never want to make somebody feel bad about being light-skinned because they didn't choose it. But the reality is that this country that we live in, they have taught us that light skin is quote unquote better or more desirable, or it's the beauty standard. And so the closer you are to white, the better. And a lot of people don't want to acknowledge that when they talk about their preferences. Like, it's completely possible to just be naturally attracted to light-skinned people. But if you find that you can't like somebody light-skinned without talking bad about dark-skinned people, then yeah, your preference is rooted in bigotry, anti-blackness. And yeah, honestly, your preferences say more about you than the people that you don't like, or the people that you're not attracted to. Don't quote me on this, but I think I remember hearing, or like something about there's been studies and all this other stuff. So in general, we tend to date people who look like us. So obviously it's kind of depending on like where you grow up, your family, the type of neighborhood, your actual choices. Your actual dating choices are one thing. But if you ever notice, like, couples that have been together for a long time, or, you know, some couples, they be like, oh, y'all kind of look alike. And that's because in general, a lot of times we're attracted to similar facial features and things like that, and bone structures that we have ourselves. And it's subconscious. Like, it's not, I don't have to go out and say, like, I want someone with a nose like mine and full, like, it's just a natural thing, I guess you can say. There's always going to be individuals who don't necessarily fit these general studies. So what I mean, so I say all that to say, and what I mean by when I say your dating preferences say more about you than anybody else, is that if you yourself are black and you have really strong negative opinions about features, hair textures, anything that's associated with blackness, and you feel strongly against it, like, what does that say about you and how you feel about yourself? And in general, like, I'm just tired of people feeling like, they need to declare what their preference is. At the end of the day, we all have preferences. Like I said, I have a preference. I have a certain type of black man that I'm attracted to, but I don't need to go on in a public space and make all these bold declarations. I just date the type of black man that I like. Okay? It's as simple as that. Like, I have to talk about the type of guy that I'm not attracted to. I just date the kind of guys that I like and stay away from the kinds that I don't like. So yeah, I'm going to pop on lashes real quick, and then I'll come back and I'll close all of this out. So yeah, overall, I'm just happy and grateful that I've reached a point in my life to where my worthiness and my beauty is not dependent on what some entertainer believes, some rapper, some singer, some actor, athlete. Like, regardless of what they say, like, I'm her, and I don't need anyone else to confirm that. And I forgot to mention, but Tokyo Vanity, I think that's it, from Love and Hip Hop, she also joined the conversation, and I guess she was saying how on 2 separate occasions, separate cities, separate clubs, Chris Brown had a no darky rule in his VIP section at the club. And so that's another element to how he meant what he said. But yeah, like, at the end of the day, I understand that we all want to be desired to some extent, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to be desired, but it's like, at what cost? In my opinion, if you cannot uplift me, if you cannot give me a compliment, if you cannot tell me I'm beautiful without overtly disrespecting and putting someone else down, then I don't want your compliment. So that's just kind of how I deal with preferences. Here is my finished look. I didn't really go into much detail about my makeup, but here's the look. So yeah, other than that, thank you all for watching. If you would like to join the conversation, definitely leave a comment down in the comment section. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and if you would like to see more chatty content like this from me. And yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.